set?
Let's go.
Last show of July, folks. I can't even believe I just said that out loud. Welcome to the wrap. George Ringer, hotter than a pistol. Well, it's not hot. It's humid.
Yeah, it is.
I can't even call it hot. It's only 4 degrees. But
my wife has a flower pot of, we don't even know what kind of flowers they are, but they have tiny, little, beautiful, fragile buds. They're really, really tiny. And she thinks it's because of the humidity that these pop open. She's had these plants for a while, and nobody's ever seen it bloom. And here they are blooming. And
I can believe it. And it's only supposed to get worse the next day or two. So we'll hang on and we'll persevere. And then by this time next week, it's supposed to be a little more humane, more football-like.
You know, the thing of it is that I was watching the Twins the other night. I caught the Twins in the three game that they played against the Dodgers, or at least part of them. And at the end of that time, they had an opportunity to sweep the series. Well, not sweep the series, win the series.
Yeah.
And you know,
so what did you think of the decision?
Oh, it was awful. You know, and so you know, but it's a flip of a coin. So it was just kind of a flip of a coin.
Well, here's the tough part of it, George.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me set up the why what we're discussing here in case you didn't see what happened. So again, they're ahead of the Dodgers, bottom of the ninth inning.
Yeah.
2 outs. Mookie Betts is at the plate, and he gets away with a check swing that should have been called a strike 3.
Yeah.
Would have ended the game. The Twins up by a run. He ends up getting a walk. No, he ended up getting infield hit. Sorry,
Yeah.
infield hit. Just a sick, stupid little bouncer that got into the middle of anyway, he gets on first base. Shohei Ohtani's coming up. He's already hit a home run in the game. They decide to intentionally walk him, put the winning run on base, move the tying run into scoring position. At that point, I had to pick up my phone and call Uncle Paul and say, what are we doing? Are we agreeing with this? Then Jax decided that the strike zone was no longer important. They bring in a pinch hitter, and he decided I don't need to throw one in the strike zone. They must have told him he's going to swing at everything or something, I don't know. And he walks him and then brings Freddie Freeman to the plate. And Friday slash one, Bader just about got there. Harrison came up, hit him right here in the glove as he was diving. But
I've never seen the bottom of the ninth end in such a fashion as all the things that could have
you've been
gone
watching
wrong
baseball.
did.
You've been watching baseball for 60 years.
Yeah,
maybe more.
Maybe.
What is this being able to see something you've never seen happen before? I mean,
I don't know. The first thing I saw in the first game is Ohtani served up a nice pitch, and Byron took him into the field, and then he struck out the side pretty much, and he comes on and he smacks a home run, and you just think, and I have to say this, Ohtani in my mind has the potential of being the best there ever was, simply because he can pitch 97, 98 miles an hour and has a good feel for the strike zone, and he can really hit home runs. 5 home runs in the last 5 games. This reminds me of the Maris Mantle thing, and they used to have little corners in all the newspapers. How many home runs they got, what they got last night, you know, and you could see slowly but surely, because they were just 1 or 2 apart, and Maris was sneaking up. And of course he won the contest, but and they were batting, I don't know, 3 and 4 in the lineup.
Probably, yeah.
And so, you know, and you watch that, but to see Ohtani, I mean, he is really a fine baseball player, and I hope his investments work out a little bit better for him, and he has a little bit better grip on the money and living in the United States. But boy, he is a dandy.
Yeah, tough loss for the Twins that way. I wasn't totally against and I don't know if it cost them the game. The walk to the pinch hitter, I can't even remember his name, who it was. I was so upset at the time when it happened. I couldn't even think about what his name was.
I guess that was the whole thing too, because it's a decision that you have to make. And
of course, Jackson obviously didn't have a decision, and so maybe that ticked him off. Maybe that's why he couldn't hit the strike zone. But anyway, I think the worst part, folks, was they lost 2 out of 3 at Denver. To Colorado.
What do you mean? Denver won 22 games this year, and a bunch of them against the Twins. That was the poorest performance of the year for them. And it's at that point in time, especially after the third game, that they could have, should have, would have. It all became clear to me. Football season's about to start.
Football season. Here's the scary part. I looked at the standings this morning, and last week when last I spoke to you, the Twins were 13 games out of first place or something like that. They're only 10 games out of first place. They're now in fourth place instead of second place because they went 2-6 since the All-Star, or 2-4, excuse me, or since the All-Star break. But the Tigers are 1-9 in their last 10 games. Holy crap!
Well, you know, and it's one of the things, and the Twins got the Nationals coming in, and they're not a very good baseball team too. So maybe they can snare some of these. I'm telling you,
they've got to against these lesser teams. They have to.
They have
to.
But you know, I mean, every time I watch them play, and of course, I mean, back to back from Royce Lewis. I haven't seen that in a long time, and he's playing well. And we've been waiting for that, and waiting for that, and waiting for that. And when they interviewed him, I thought there is a man that is enjoy playing the game again, and because
that helps.
It helps success.
That helps.
So you know, they're fun to watch. They do have a ton of potential. My question for you is, who are they going to trade?
Well, I was going to be my question to you back the other way, but you beat me to it. Trade deadline is next Wednesday, the 31st. Or 30th, excuse me, and they're going to have to. Uncle Paul wants Johan Duran gone. Get him out of here. Matter of fact, he said just leave him in LA. Don't even let him get on the plane. Just get whatever you can from the Dodgers because they need a closer. That didn't happen, at least as far as I know at this point.
Well, a lot of people are talking for Duran to go because, well, he's still worth a lot of money, and you know, and it's the paycheck that becomes the albatross.
So here's the thing. Last week in the Minneapolis paper, I'm sure you read it. I think it was Royce who wrote about it, that the Twins traded this guy to, is it Seattle, Denver, Arizona, someplace, and he made the All-Star team this year. And the Twins traded him 4 years ago for Chris Paddock and Emilio Pagan and a pitcher that we had that was in there. And it was like, oh, the Twins screwed up. Well, they had already had him in the system for like 5 years at that time.
Yeah.
And he hadn't done it yet, so it was a risk. They drafted. It was a number one overall, draft pick, but not overall number one draft pick for the in the first round for the Twins. And there he goes, starts barking that the Twins screwed up and they lost on it because Pagan didn't whatever. Well, they took it was a risk, but they needed a couple arms. And they decided that they were going to pull the trigger on it.
All these trades are risks, and they can come back to haunt you, and in fact, do. But
just because you trade a player doesn't mean they're not good. That's the problem with the Royce story that ticks me off.
Are they going to get rid of Joe Ryan? Are you people crazy? You'd have to be. He's the mainstay of your pitching staff. What you just did then was tossing the towel.
Well, that's right. There's certain players you can trade without saying we're pulling the pin on our option of being able to make the playoffs.
And that bullpen, I mean, every time somebody comes in for that bullpen, I don't even know who they are, and they can throw pitches like I've never seen. I mean, they are curving and waving and doing everything but waving goodbye. I mean, these sliders and four-seam fastballs and just and find that corner. I mean, I don't know what you need in that strike zone, but they only get a nick of the corner, and that's a strike. So,
they're good.
We'll see what happens. Now, they got a problem in Boston this year, tonight, actually.
What's the problem?
Dodgers are coming.
Ah?
And the concessionaires are going on strike.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah. See,
wow.
So this is, they were negotiating yet today because, and so the concessionaires are not stupid. They figured, hey, if the Dodgers come, they're going to pack this place and will, and it's going to cost them. It's like what do they call them, the Dodger dogs. There'll be no Dodger dogs in Boston, but. So, baseball has...
Everybody's got to get their cut, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure those concessionaires aren't making very much money in the first place. So
no,
I'm sure a couple percent wouldn't hurt the Boston Red Sox any. They've got plenty. The dirty buggers.
And anyway, going back, but I saw one quote that I saw, and I mean, and this is a good one. No trade is better than a bad trade. So, this is all going to go on.
So you did ask me, do I think they'll trade somebody Yes.
You think it'll be Johan?
No, I don't. I don't think the Twins. I just don't think they're going to get rid of him. It could be a Willie Castro, somebody who is at the end of their contract. I don't see it.
Yeah, there's several of them that they're in their contract and will be free agents soon. So
we'll see.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean if they trade somebody that they're pitching it, that they're packing it in. Depends upon who they can get back.
You know, Willie Castro though, he grows on you.
That's what I'm saying. He'll grow on some other team
Yeah.
too, and that's why maybe they can get an arm or something.
Well, especially if he goes to a good team and they get into playoffs or maybe even the series or something like that, and that happens. So yeah, it's.
Anything else baseball wise?
Boy, I can't think of it. What's been on TV here the last 3 or 4 nights, though, has been the Worcester Red Sox and the St. Paul Saints.
Oh.
And so that's been on Channel 9, so I've been clipping it over there and watching it. People seem to be having a pretty good time, and,
In St. Paul, yeah.
Yeah.
They're absolutely having a good time.
Yeah.
So.
They always said, though, they were hard to get tickets, but I don't believe that there were a lot of empty seats there. But, they're fun to watch.
It's hard when it's 100 degrees to go watch baseball,
It
sit
is.
and get your sweat your.
No, I agree.
Speaking of sweating their whatever off in the Twin Cities this weekend, the golf tournament, the PGA is in Blaine.
It is
at the 3M. Now, did they set the course up a little too easy?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not that I know a lot of things about golf. In fact, next to nothing. But I played that Blaine course a lot. Me and the guru lived in Blaine, and so we would go out there and play all the time. And it was a great place because there were animals all over the place, and right in the middle they had a pond. Now they have since rearranged the golf course quite a bit, but they still have that pond. And I've got several balls in there. I suppose they could go dig them up for me, but it's a great golf course. Again, it's 100 degrees out there.
Yeah,
it
feels nasty.
Yeah.
363s, 262s, and a 60 on day one. That means you're talking maybe minus 28, 29 to win the tournament.
Yeah, and so what is that? Is it 65 par?
No, 70 or 71, I think.
So they're 8 or 10 on the first day under?
10 under, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so they must have her set up pretty nice. The boys are taking full advantage. Gooderup, who took, fourth at the British Open last weekend. We should talk a little bit about that. He was at, he shot one of the 63s or 62s. So he continues to play well. And, of course, Scotty Scheffler won the Open.
He is so Tiger Wood-like right now and dominating so much that I'm taking a look at a guy that's golfing with him, and he's hitting a nice 6, and he's still 6 strokes back, and they're on the 17th hole. Well, they're not going to make that up.
No, Scotty
just not allowed.
Scotty looked like he was on cruise control, in control of his game.
Yeah.
Early on Sunday, he had a little whatever where he had to make 3 par putts of about 14, 15 feet, which is a whole lot easier on the courses in England, and that's nothing against it.
Keep this in mind, Scotty's not his. That's not the overpowering part of his game. Is putting.
No.
But he was right there.
He was dialed in.
Yeah.
Took a double on 8 and looked like he was going to let everybody maybe back in, and then
goodbye.
Slammed her shut. Enough of that. It was interesting how they talked about the fact that he said, "I have to learn how to enjoy these wins more, rather than being stoic, mechanical, robotic, whatever." And seemed to be that when he got his kid out there and the wife, it was good stuff.
And it's I think when you see Scotty Scheffler and you see his beautiful wife and his beautiful child out there, he changes, and right then he realizes why he did this, and I think he becomes very, very human, and that's why he's so popular. He's
Yeah, he said a few things at the start of the week last week about winning really isn't everything, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes out and wins by 4 shots, I think it was. So that's 4 majors for Scotty, all by 3 or more shots. The comparisons to Tiger and to
Nicholas.
Jack and everybody who's done this. He's got 3 out of the 4 for the Grand Slam. It's hard to believe that the U.S. Open maybe has been his downfall, but he's dialed in right now. So we'll
Fun
see
to
what
watch.
happens.
He really is just fun to watch.
So let's talk a little football.
All right.
The Vikings, excuse me, I saw Twins, sorry.
Yeah.
The Vikings got to training camp and got things underway.
Yeah. And it's funny because last week I was hearing, they're not going to be good and they're going to be at the bottom of the Central Division and all the rest of that. And then I listened to some technicians that are talking about the front 5 is rated 7th in the NFL.
No, that's not bad.
The front 7, that's the 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers, are rated like 1 or 2. And if you can, the only question that I always have when I see these guys is what do they do with cornerbacks? Well, a little birdie told me that they've been running what the hell, the young kids linebacker Dallas Turner, and they've been running him off the linebacker spot to a cornerback position. And I mean, I heard he's put on 15 pounds of solid meat, and I'm looking for Turner to get some play time because I'll tell you, the rest of that linebacker crew is tight. Ivan Pace and Van Ginkel, these guys, they're really good linebackers.
Well, I found it interesting in the Minneapolis paper, or the Star Tribune, I guess. It's not Minneapolis, it's the Minnesota Star Tribune. But anyway, they talked about that Flores in year 3 is taking the defense to the Masters level.
Yeah.
We learned a little bit the first year. We kind of got to the maybe the college level last year. Now we're taking it to the Masters level. So it's going to be interesting to see
and the other
what
thing,
they're going to throw in.
They have a great defensive coach in Brian Flores, and he said first when he looked them up, and he says, "Yeah, there's a lot to like here." And Flores he's pretty stoic guy, and keeps everything a little bit contained sometimes, and and at this point in time, I think he recognizes talent when he has, especially that linebacker.
Well, okay, so I'm throwing it out this way. He obviously had opportunities maybe to leave the Vikings. Maybe didn't necessarily get the head coaching offers that he thought maybe he was going to get, or maybe didn't like the situations. To have him here makes a big deal for that defense, and like you said, the offensive line putting things together.
They got a great offensive line. They got a good backfield. Not a great running backs, but competent enough to handle it.
They'll be better with a good line in front of them.
Exactly, and they still have some of the best receiving cores in the league. And of course, they're going to lose Jordan Addison for 3 games.
Is that what the scuttlebutt is?
That's with the scuttlebutt. So they'll lose him for 3.
Wow, that seems a little harsh.
Yeah, I think that this might have been like a second type anyway.
Yeah, because he had the speeding ticket before that, right? Or something?
These are 120 mile an hour speeding tickets. They're a little bit high. Yeah. Anyway, they picked up a guy named Stephen Gilmore, and he is a free agent, and he's at cornerback. And you can't have too many quarterbacks. You can't have too many good offensive linemen either, and it's because somebody probably is going to get hurt. I don't know. Let me see here. JJ seems to be the question. And I'm
has been since we drafted him 18 months ago or 16 months ago.
No, they're coming up with, he doesn't have to be great on this football team because he has a line, he has running backs, he has receivers. He has to be good, but he doesn't have to be flawless. And I think,
and I'm not disagreeing with what they're saying. I don't think any quarterback has to be flawless, but you got to make the right decisions.
Well, there are, but some of them,
some of them like to force the issue.
Yeah. There's a few of them around that.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
They're pretty darn good.
You know, so I think when you take a look at this, how much is required from a rookie? And he's still a rookie, and he has to come out, and he has to, you know, people say he doesn't move the ball, he's not that kind of quarterback, but he's got a very good release, and it's very quick. And it's, you know, and everybody kind of, I listened to a quarterback coach talk about that one time. He says, first thing that caught my eye is how quick an arm he has, and it goes fast. Now, the mobility part, I love. When you got a quarterback, you got another running back in my mind, and I've seen that work and does work, and so we don't have that. But he's, you know, we have Jefferson too. So
We do.
yeah.
We'll see what happens. It's first preseason game is August 9th
Against Houston.
against the old Texans, and then
Texans, yeah.
of course, then they get to play at the Bears on Monday night, September 8th for the season opener. That's a long ways away yet, but it'll be here before we know it.
Well, you know, and a lot of people are talking about this Bears team that's coming along, and he says the first thing they had to do is take care of the coaching situation, and they seem to have
Still got to
done
take
that.
care. Still got to take care of that quarterback situation.
Well,
and
the quarterback situation is-
everything that I've heard about Kalen Williams over the offseason was not really good. So,
Well, that's Saunders is struggling over at Cleveland too.
yeah.
This is tough game, and it's and a hard
is.
one. It's you know, and they were talking about J.J. McCarthy. When you watch him, and they figure he'll play in the first game. He says what he'll notice is just how much quicker it is than practice.
Sure.
And I just you remember that in all the games you ever
Yeah.
played. It's just like you can't practice to the level of a game, and it's
Yeah, when you got the red jersey on in practice, it's different.
It's different.
It's different.
It's
Hall of
different.
Fame game is July 31st. What? What? Detroit and the Chargers playing on the 31st of July.
Canton, Ohio.
That's next Thursday. Holy
Boy, it is.
crap!
Yeah, and they've already been in camp for a few days, and besides, you know, the modern professional football player, he's never out of condition anymore.
No, but
Although they-
I just can't believe they're playing in July.
One of the guys down at Tampa Bay or something came in 441 pounds, and they won't let him work until he
Takes
trims
off,
down, trims down.
To about 395 or something. Wow.
That's you know, and I mean when you're playing in heat and doing all the rest of that stuff, that's dangerous to carry that much.
Absolutely. Well, last Friday I almost scratched an itch and drove to Winnipeg to watch my Blue Bombers. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
They stunk up the place. It was ugly. They lost to Calgary for the second time this season. And then Calgary went and lost to Montreal last night. The Bombers are 3-2. That's not a normal location for the Blue Bombers, but they'll figure it out.
Well, I talked to a good friend of mine last night who's got a relative that's part of the Blue Bombers organization. Oh, what is he? He's an accountant.
Oh.
And they got T-shirts, they got Blue Bomber T-shirts. I said, well, I've been watching them. I've been watching
That
them.
is Lane Wilson.
I says, I think that Winnipeg fans have more fun than any other fans in the league. You know, and they are wild, and I enjoy watching that. I got to watch 3 or 4 games before I have at all any kind of understanding of what they're trying to run, and it's tough to do.
There's just lots of people moving.
Oh, I think that 20-yard end zone is just indescribable to a defensive coach. I wouldn't know how to. It drives
Well,
me nuts.
there's no red zone defense. There isn't.
No.
No, that doesn't exist with
That
a
doesn't
20-yard end
exist.
zone. You're always playing it pretty much normal. So.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah. Well, the Loons tied at Portland on Saturday.
Yeah.
They're in St. Louis tomorrow, and it ought to be about 1,000 degrees with the humidity, I would guess.
It won't be much warmer than that. cooler
Sitting
than
in
that.
3rd place behind San Diego and Vancouver, only by a point. So, yeah, they're hanging in there. So, but of course, we still got about 3 months left in the regular season for the Loons. So, long way to go yet.
Yes.
What do you got next?
Let's talk about the Gophers just for a second.
Go over football?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're talking about a guy named Drake Lindsay is about to be their quarterback, or so they say. And they
Okay.
lost.
Where'd he come from?
I'm
Then no,
not sure.
okay.
But I think he started as a freshman.
Okay.
But I mean, started out in the organization, so I think he's a sophomore or a junior. But well, he might have even transferred. I'm not sure. But they're wondering whether or not he can lead the team on account of they have to replace all 5 of their offensive line. They also went through and talked about how many Gophers got invited to NFL training camps. Like 14 of them. They had a good team last year, and a lot of seniors and people that can make it. But they should probably have a pretty good running game.
Well, we all know that starts up front. And the
Yep.
Gophers. Drake Lindsay is a freshman.
Okay.
He's got 4 years of eligibility remaining, so he's a 6'5", 230. He wanted to play. It says here he wanted to play for Arkansas, and they didn't offer him.
Well,
You know what that means? Get the birds. Anyway,
we'll see.
that means we're going to lose him to Arkansas in about 2 years when he's shown that he can develop, and then he'll go play in the SEC.
But they had their media day.
Yeah. Did you watch any of it?
No, it was in Las Vegas, but Las Vegas.
What are we doing? What is what? That's why that was part of the reason why I didn't watch
That's
any
part
of
of the
it.
reasons I didn't watch it either.
I'm
They
not,
took it off the big
if
thing.
you aren't going to be in one of the cities
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
have one of
yeah.
your schools,
Yes.
I'm not watching that.
No.
That's baloney.
So a couple of things to watch out for is Corey Parrish playing on both sides of the ball,
Yep.
and I can see him on some end sweeps. I can see him. I could see him in the backfield for that matter. But the guy is really super good, and I think he wants to be here, and I think he wants to play and be a Minnesota Gopher, and he's going to be. I'll go to watch him play.
I hope that they don't overuse him.
I hope they don't either.
I mean, I know we can talk about the kid from Colorado last year, and he's playing 120 snaps per game and all that other stuff. And then they want Parrish returning kicks, and they want him returning punts, and they want him in as receiver, and they want him playing D-back. And he's a special athlete.
I think the returning punts right now is what he did as a freshman. And if they keep on running him in that capacity, they're not developing other punt returners. And sooner or later, he's going to get tapped. You know, and I'm not saying he shouldn't do it once in a while. Maybe
in a big situation,
Yes.
when they need something big to happen.
They call that dots, depending on the situation.
There you go.
And so, but I'm looking forward to watching him now. There's some dark horses in the Big Ten this year. Illinois is coming back strong, and so is Indiana. And it's just like,
You're testing me.
No.
You're trying to get a reaction out of me.
Well,
you know how I don't like Brett, and I still don't believe Indiana was as good as they were. Oh, they pulled it all out of their butt. Anyway, keep going.
no, I
Yeah.
could.
No.
I asked my friend Mark, who was the nastiest guy on the sidelines. He said it was Brett.
Huh?
And so,
Yeah,
on the
Bielema
other
is not a
hand,
nice guy. I don't like Brett Bielema.
on the other hand, he's a pretty fair football coach, and Indiana, they kind of did a rebuild last year, and that team got a shot of energy like I wouldn't have ever believed, and
It will be hard to replicate what they did last year.
It will be hard. Yeah,
Nobody's going to be taking Indiana lightly
nobody is going to be
in
taking
2025.
them.
Nobody.
No, they're absolutely not. So I'm and I
Have you got your college Smith and whatever college football magazine?
No,
Not yet.
they'll be coming in pretty quick. And I don't know why I wait this long, because generally when they come in, you can pick your team cover, and Minnesota's always out. So I have to wind up with
Somebody else.
Last time I think it was Penn State.
Okay.
I will. I can go in.
I haven't
can go Indiana.
read one of those, bought one of those in ages to peruse myself. So
Well, I'm gonna tell
maybe
you-
this year I should.
I'm going to tell you right now, the price has gone up.
$10, $12.
They're running about $18 per
Holy
magazine
smokes!
now. Yeah.
I'll probably save my $18 and
You can read mine.
and I'll go online and read a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
How about your Minnesota Lynx?
You know, they had a problem. And
They
that
had
was-
a problem
they
or
have
have a problem?
Well, Collier wanted to have Emma Massimon,
Yeah, we were talking about this
Yeah.
last time. Yeah.
and they didn't get her, and she went to the New York Liberty. And I think that took a little air out of the Lynx, because you see, they don't particularly like the New York Liberty, and I know
No?
you don't either.
No?
But she's 6'4". She's a power forward, and the best description was she will make an immediate impact on the team. And so I don't know. I guess maybe she just wanted to try out Gotham City as opposed to Minneapolis, but Fiza Collier was very disappointed.
Yeah.
thought
Well,
that
when
she would be great.
when you're looking maybe for that one more piece to kind of cement that you're going to get over the top. Not that they're a bad team already, right?
I don't know, but when they get a chance to do that Liberty again, I'm going to be there screaming and shouting with my Link shirt on. It's just they're a great team and fun to watch, and I've turned not to particularly like the Liberty either. They cheat. No, they don't. I can't see they wanted to, but she would have filled in. She would have filled in very, very well on this Lynx team, and we're
They
disappointed.
get Las Vegas tonight. Any thoughts from All-Star Weekend for the WNBA?
Well,
Any comment on the T-shirt?
you know,
Sees how that's been the big
watched-
story.
I watched half of it, and it was it's pretty good for a game that they made a decision not to call absolutely any fouls or any traveling, and they were laughing and giggling, and when you put up,
And they had a 4-point line.
they have a 4-point line, and then at the end of the first quarter, Collier team had 53 points at the end of the first quarter. Now that's not good defense.
That's no defense.
Yeah, that's no defense. And they were throwing up everything they could, and they were all looking. The 4-point, folks, is they got a circle, a couple of circles around the head of the key, and you got to get in that circle, and that's where you shoot from. And it's just like, and hey, it's quite a shot. And they were, well, Collier's team was hitting them. Caitlin's team not so much. So
And Caitlin didn't play, of course. She's
Caitlin
got the
didn't play.
injury.
Yeah.
And so, they keep beating on her.
well,
The injuries are going to happen, right?
This is a tough league too, and some of these women, they're big and strong and they can hurt you, and so and they are not like emotionally attached, so they don't mind. So it's amazing.
Tour de France.
Tour de France. Well, I don't know. The 17th thing was going on the other day. They've had a couple of accidents. One car ran over a bunch of people, and
I looked it up this morning just to make sure that see if Taja Pogacar was still in the lead.
Taja- yeah, he is.
He is, by the way, by almost 4.5 minutes. But they changed the route of the race yesterday. Did you hear why?
no.
Diseased cows. They did not want the bike riders going through the area where the diseased cows were at,
Why?
so they changed the course yesterday. I didn't even read the story. What
I don't
were,
think
were,
I don't
were they
think
worried?
France is allowed to have any diseased cows. So
What, does that mean that the diseased cows, they were like going to be pooping on the road, or they were worried that one of the bikes might go out into the cows and
Yeah.
lick their face? Or what?
flatulation,
What-
just
what-
air. It comes through the air.
What is it? And if these cows are diseased, why are they not like quarantined or put someplace or taken down, or I don't know, that kind of.
Well, you grew up in a dairy farm.
I grew up on a dairy farm.
tell
That's
me
why I'm
about
wondering.
cow disease.
You didn't, why would you leave a diseased cow alive?
Would that be that mad cow thing I heard about? Because I know a lot of guys that had that. It was good.
So
It was good.
anyway, Tour de France ends on Sunday, and it looks like Pogacar will win his 4th consecutive. And
You know,
Unless he crashes
I
and
like to
burns.
watch the last set because they go down the Champs Elysees and swing around. I don't know how many laps they do.
I think it's 8.
8. And they
I
do,
think.
they do a bunch of laps, and the Frenchmen go absolutely berserk. And they've been doing this berserk thing for well over 100 years. And this is if they outside of maybe football. Bike riding might be the number one
Right.
sport in that country, and
be
so
great.
there ain't nothing like having a whole bunch of crazy Frenchmen around because, well, I'm half French, so
There you go.
well, quarter.
What else you got on that piece of paper?
I just want to take a quick shot here because my friend Malaika Batdorf is coming to town. Now you don't know her, but she's a young lady from California, and she's coming to town. And she is ranked number 14 in the California State Wrestling rankings, She's a junior, and she's coming in, and she's going to do a workshop, takedown workshop over at the workshop in town. So she's going to do a workshop at the workshop, and this is going to happen Tuesday, July 29th, from 5:30 to 7:30, and I think it'll just absolutely be excellent. There is a fee of $30 per wrestler, but you want to come and meet Joe Backdorf. This is his pride and joy. And Malaika has been wrestling. She's going on her 3rd year, but she's extremely capable. And I've watched her wrestle on tape many times, and she's a great personality. So come on down, either wrestling or jiu-jitsu, or this will be a takedown thing. I will be there because, well,
You cannot not be there.
I cannot not be. And so, but if you want to come down and enjoy and improve your takedowns, she is really a remarkable young lady, and she's 110 pounds. She's about that big, with great big arms. So and she needs those arms because she's also a concert pianist. So she's an amazing young lady. Come on down and meet Malaika, and I can't believe that this is happening, but I'm even hoping that that's on a Tuesday. Maybe we could probably do a Monday sports wrap, unless you're going to be gone.
I'm going to be gone.
Oh yeah, well, I would have had her here. So anyway,
I bet if you asked Darcy to set up the camera so you could talk to her, I bet Darcy would do that for her.
well, Darcy's kind of related.
Well, see, there you go, and all the better. So,
And I want to repeat,
And-
on August 15th, there is going to be an all-school wrestling reunion at Shay Shay at 6 o'clock at night, and everybody that ever wrestled or put on a singlet or either went out and kicked butt or got butt kicked. I've had them both, and I prefer one over the other. But you want to come out; those guys are going to all be there. This is the first time this has happened, and so the guys from the 60s and the 70s, it started in 1967. So if you were a part of that group that were lucky enough, I don't know, what, 26, 27 years they had wrestling?
27.
27 years, and come on out and see the guys, and I think we're going to have a really good time. There'll be some coaches there, and there'll be, a bar will be there.
A bar will be
A
there.
bar will be there. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Anything else sports-wise?
Let me see if I can get my other notes here. No, we already mentioned our good friend Scotty. So,
Okay.
what else you got?
Well, we got to go through the obituaries for this past week. It was a tough week.
It was a tough week.
I don't know. It doesn't matter where you start. I'll start with Connie Francis because that's a little before my time. My mom was, I think.
Sorry now. Anyway, she was.
See, there you go.
No, Connie Francis, you had a difficult time turning on the radio for a half hour and not getting the Connie. Where the boys are. I mean, you know them all. She really had a great voice and just a super entertainer.
Chuck Mangione,
Oh,
the Fugle.
yes, he blew the horn and he played "Feel So Good," or he was the one that had the theme song for the Bachelor game. Ba-da-bum bum 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 bum. Ba-da-bum bum 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 bum. You remember it? Okay, that's it for me.
So, well then we lost Theo Huxtable.
Theo Huxtable. Now that and I mean
54.
That was tragic. 54, and he caught. He got caught in a riptide in Costa Rica, and it took him out. And he had his child with him, but somehow or other she was able to make it. But he's a pretty popular guy, and he had some very good shows. Not only the Huxtable, but there was another show that he did with Miss Ross. Anyway, but there was a good show. He was a good actor and pretty popular. Too bad.
Ozzy Osbourne, they made the Black Sabbath reunion here 3 weeks ago, and he made it only about 2 more weeks.
There was a time I was working on a ship, and me and a guy were running down the beach in California, and there was a concert going on, and it was Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult.
Wow.
and Black Sabbath was playing. The people were going absolutely nuts. This would have been 1980 and 80, I guess. And I just thought, I didn't know I liked heavy metal that much, but it was very good music.
I did not know this, and take this because it didn't really matter why, but I never knew why Ozzy was no longer with Black Sabbath. But in the article that I read in the paper the other day, it said that they had fired him because,
well, he was intoxicated pretty much the whole time.
Couldn't depend upon him to make concerts and everything else. So.
And ultimately, I'm not so sure that didn't take years away from his life. And and Keith Richards is completely open about some of the things that he did, and now he's 82 and he's 83, completely clean and sober, and he says it's brought on a whole new life for him, but it actually saved his life. And Ozzy, it just kind of caught up with him.
I have to say, the fact that he made it to 76, don't take this the wrong way, might be the shocker.
People have said that about me.
Hell, you're going to make 86.
I hope so.
And of course, probably the most recent one here, Hulk Hogan.
The Hulkster.
Heart attack, apparently. Apparently, what I read last night, they tried to work on him for about an hour in his house, and
the Hulkamania.
Hulkamania is dead.
He brought a whole new cult to TV. He had his own cartoon show, and you'd walk around with the Hulkster, and he seemed to have a good sense of humor about that. Wrestled Andre the Giant. If you have a gig that you can really, really do well and present yourself, like I was thinking at the time, maybe I should bleach my mustache. Didn't think that'd help. The rest of the beard was black, and so that would have, but I couldn't wrestle like that. So
last night I was got home. It was my granddaughter's 12th birthday yesterday.
Oh.
God bless you, Charlotte. Happy 12th. It's hard to believe she's going to be a teenager. Anyway, that's another story for another day. Anyway, I was flipping through the channels, and I got to the religious channel, and there's Hulk Hogan, an interview that he had done here in the last, I suppose, year or so. And he was talking about how his movement to Jesus and dedicating his life to Jesus. Anyway, that was part of it. But they talked about his background. The guy just said, just explain to us how you came out of Tampa, the Tampa Bay area, and became Hulk Hogan. So he talked about how he went and did all this stuff, and he said he was in a band, 6'7", and he told the band that they had a chance to go out on the road, and the band members said, we ain't going out on the road. One had just gotten married, and wife had just gotten pregnant or whatever, and they said, we're not going on the road. And he basically said, screw you guys, I'm going to become the best professional wrestler ever. And they all busted out laughing at him. That's the way he told the story. He said, I went down to the place, I don't remember the name of it, doesn't matter, and he said, I started working out, and a guy broke my leg on the first day I was there. He got me in a hold and he snapped my leg. And he said, they said he'll never come back. He said, so for 4 months I healed up and I got better. And he said, I went back, and for 2 years I paid my dues and whatever else. And he talked about how all this stuff, and then finally getting in with WWE and going up to New York and doing it.
Before he got that, he was in Minneapolis working with Vern Gagne. And they taught him actually how to speak and how to be interviewed and how to,
do all the stuff,
do all the personification that he had to have. Each one of these guys, and there were some of these people like that, and I've seen this happen. Jesus, you didn't say I had to wrestle him. Some of these guys could really wrestle, and
Well, he said one of the things they taught us how to do was to put a guy in a headlock without really hurting him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't realize you could put somebody in a headlock and not hurt.
Well, no, but there are methods, and and one of the things about it is in amateur wrestling, if I have a head, I have to have an arm. Otherwise, it's just a headlock, and that's against the law. So you have to have a head and have an arm. And you see the pros, they'll come over and they'll have an arm, and then they'll reach up and grab it right here. And so they'll take they'll take that head and throw like a throwing. They're throwing it from the shoulder, not from the neck. The neck only takes so much punishment.
Yeah. So anyway, it was kind of interesting. I told Eli, we were watching Young Sheldon and that it was on at the same time. It was 10:15, and I finally turned to him. I said, "Which one do you want to watch, Hulk or Young Sheldon?" Young Sheldon. I'm like, "Oh, I thought for sure because the Young Sheldon wasn't getting his attention.
No,
He was
but
looking at
25 years ago, he would have loved the Hulk.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot of the kids just did. He had a charisma. He had a brand, and
he had 24-inch pythons. What?
Yeah.
Who didn't want to have a 24-inch bicep? I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, he and I mean, I'm not saying that steroids had anything to do with it, but probably
With the body
With the
and
body.
with the end
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, it's-
who knows? I mean, I can only guesstimate, but yeah. I mean, even Eli said, "Look how good he looks for how old he is." And I said, "Yeah, that's steroids. It's still
Yeah.
still whatever." And I mean, obviously you got to work out. You just can't take steroids and be that way. But obviously he worked out and did this, said his prayers and took his vitamins and everything else, brother. And
that's what I'm not doing. Taking my vitamins.
not taking your vitamins. There it is.
I'll do that later.
So anyway, yeah, I had heard that Hulk Hogan was in pretty poor health about a month ago. That maybe he'd had a scare and
Well,
a legend.
a year ago, he was at the Republican National Congress,
Yeah.
and he was hooting and a hollering.
He was.
And, and probably probably the best speech of the whole bunch. I mean, I ripped off my shirt, I know that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. Anything else?
No, that what does it for me, but I tell you what, football's coming on, and the stories are flying, and my friend Patrick Rusi says baseball season's over. Let's get on with football, and we'll see what happens the next couple of days. But the Twins,
2.5 weeks to the start of the high school seasons.
oh boy,
It'll be here before we know it.
You'll be busy.
We will be busy.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it.
Good enough.
Take
Thanks,
care.
everybody.